Spider-Man No Way Home is an incredible event for the world of movie comics, an emotional story about responsibility and friendship. The film broke Avatar's box office record, and the main actor Tom Holland played the role of Peter Parker for the sixth time. But this is not a record among the performers of this role in the cinema, but more on that later. And this film is also nominated for the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. Previously, of all the Spider-Man films, only Spider-Man 2 received a statuette. What will be the next appearance of the Spider is a big question. Rumor has it that all the actors will reappear on the big screen and make an even bigger spectacle. However, while we are waiting for the next big announcements, you can always rewatch old movies.
I love you guys. Thank you.
In Spider-Man 3, there is a cool scene with the destruction of a skyscraper and the rescue of Gwen Stacy. First, the office itself was rebuilt, all items were removed separately. And then they combined the footage because everything was filmed not by a person, but by a robot. A special mechanism is programmed to do strictly one movement, so that when one video is on top of another, objects and people do not intersect. When the crane destroys the lower floor, part of the floor tilts down, so everything you see is a practical effect. And for the external destruction, a miniature was used. Everything was shot with a high frame rate. Then the creators came to the center of the real New York, hanging a bunch of objects there at a height of 6 meters. They threw them down. The whole process is dangerous, people were prepared and followed the safety rules. From a height of 16 meters, Spider stuntman and actress Dallas Howard descended on cables. In addition to practical filming, footage of Gwen's flight and rescue from death, these scenes were filmed on chroma key.
Do it! Just do it!
But it was even more difficult in 2002, exactly 22 years ago. Back then, the first full-length film Spider-Man was released. What was exploding is all for real, as well as the extras of the balcony. Kirsten Dunst risked herself and sat on the balcony while everything was rumbling around. Notice how big this scenery was built, all in order for the camera to have the space to shoot the whole thing. The balloon actually was a real one, a real crowd, a real ball, the size and its fall. It's scary to imagine how difficult it was for the stuntmen to think through this whole scene. There's one interesting point, the rescue of a child by Spider-Man. At a first glance, everything is fine, but there is a small jump. If you look closely, you can see that the child is glued into the shot. You can notice it by the legs. The shadow of the fence on the left should fall on them, but it's not there, although it should be. Although at the same time, everything else is done perfectly. And what was at the bottom was filmed separately, like the Goblin's Fall, but there was also computer graphics.
Hello. I hope it's okay. I just came through this,
The very first Amazing Spider-Man is a show of 1997, 2 seasons, 14 episodes and 2 full-length films. Yes, they went straight to television, 13 hours. It's bigger than Tom Holland's Spider in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This jump alone was filmed for 2 days. It was so complicated and dangerous that it became the only one. It was simply taken from different cameras and angles to be used in the right scenes. And here the problem is, the shadow. You can not walk on the chroma key this way. You need a realistic contact with the surface, depth, contrast, material, something that the character will be in direct contact with. But in another scene, the creators were perfectly able to convey the height. There is no green screen this time. They just lifted the actor on the crane and took a close-up of him. And this Spider has a compass. Even Tom Holland's Spider doesn't have that. But I like this movie. Using the simplest possibilities, the creators were able to tell a story. In terms of installation and staging, there is no fault to find. They understood how to do it. It's scary to imagine what would happen if they had all modern tech in their hands. But here it's important to say that unlike all the famous Spider-Man stories, there are no known villains here. It just so happened that the creators went their own way, but don't be afraid. Despite the different story, the series also raises important topics of responsibility. But it depends on how you look at it. For example, in the full-length movie Spider-Man Strikes Back, Peter needs to restore his honest name, and also to deprive the villains plutonium, which they want to use for specific terrible purposes. In The Amazing Spider-Man, the creators decided to slightly change the web flight. The stuntman Ilram Cho needed to fly forward, but it didn't work out. He decided that he would do it differently. He decided to swing. Everyone liked it, and the studio approved this. They created everything for real, as you can see for yourself. By the way, did you know that one suit cost $20,000? Let us know in the comments. Even in the second film, it was decided to enhance the practical effects. The director decided that it would be cool to hang the car on the shoulders of a stuntman in a spider costume. And they also rebuilt the entire Manhattan on a 1:1 scale. They filmed for 3 months. At night, in the rain and snow, although it was summer according to the script. It's a pity that the Oscar nomination for Best Visual Effects was not given. Elektra's face was painted with makeup, and the light bulbs imitated the same glow from the mutation. Lighting is a complicated thing. To avoid failure, it is better to take into account all the nuances in advance. Doing it in the program will be long and difficult, and real light will always be better than computer light. There is no doubt that the scale is fascinating no less than the final scene of the movie. It would be very interesting to see the third movie with the spiders. Still, despite the bad advertisement and rewriting of the script, the movie turned out to be incredibly spectacular. And provided that No Way Home came out successful on all sides, we can hope for the completion of the trilogy. Andrew Garfield has already pleased fans with his return, and rumors have spread that the studio is seriously thinking of making another Spider with this actor. If they call the director and also give a lot of money, then we may well expect an even bigger film than No Way Home. And Jamie Foxx, who returned to No Way Home, showed himself perfectly in the role of Electro. And this attracted new viewers to the second film, where he performed this role for the first time. By the way, the upcoming Morbius may well be in the same universe with Garfield's Spider and even Venom. Fans have already found a bunch of references in the trailers. Would you like to see a developing universe of all spiders? Hit the like button if yes.
Alright, that's enough. Mike? Yeah. Big John?
If you like this video, you will also enjoy this one. Go ahead and click on it and consider subscribing.